I co-signed my dad's truck loan so he could keep his delivery job. A year later, he quit, stopped paying, and let the bank repossess it from my driveway. Not my problem anymore, he said. My credit was ruined. I didn't talk to him for months. Then I found out what he bought instead. And that's when I should have known better. I was 27, finally getting my life on track in Charlotte, North Carolina. After years of scrubbing my credit clean and saying no to every "can I borrow" from friends and family, I was finally standing on solid ground. Then my phone rang. It was my dad. I hadn't heard from him in a while. That wasn't unusual. We never had the kind of relationship where we just talked to talk. Every conversation had a purpose, usually his. "Hey," he said, trying to sound casual. "I hate to call like this, Ray, but I need a favor." He always needed a favor. He told me he was about to lose his work truck. He drove deliveries for a logistics company out of Gastonia. Nothing fancy, but it paid the bills. Said he got behind on payments and now they wouldn't finance him again unless he had a cosigner. I told him no right away. I didn't even think. He got quiet. Then he started in with the guilt. "You know what happens if I lose this job? I lose everything. I lose the apartment. My phone. I can't drive Uber or deliver anything if I don't have a truck." I stayed quiet. Then he played the card he always saved for last. "You're the only one I got, Ray." I'd heard that line since I was 10. Usually after he screwed up something and Mom wasn't around to fix it. I should have stuck to my first answer. But I didn't. I said, "Fine. But if you miss one payment, I swear I won't," he said quickly. "I swear to God, Ray. This job's all I got. You're saving my life right now." The loan was for a 2019 Ford F-250. White. Extended cab. Used but decent. Around $34,000 after all the fees. Interest rate was high, 8.7%, but not the worst for someone like him. He didn't qualify on his own. I had to co-sign. I signed the papers in a tiny office off Wilkinson Boulevard while a finance guy in a cheap suit shoved documents at me like I was buying a used couch. I remember staring at my signature on that final sheet, heart pounding. "This is a mistake," I whispered to myself. But I did it anyway. The first 6 months went smooth. He made the payments on time. I saw them hit the online account. I'd check every month, half expecting to see a missed payment, but they were always there. I let myself believe maybe he'd actually changed. Maybe this was his moment to finally act like a grown man. But then month 7 came and I noticed something weird, no confirmation email. I didn't panic. Sometimes things are late. I gave it a few days. Then a week. Then I logged in and saw a big red notice, past due, 15 days. I called him. Straight to voicemail. I texted him, "Payment missed. What's going on?" No reply. I waited 3 more days. Then another call from the lender. "Your loan is 32 days past due. Please make a payment to avoid repossession." I was shaking. When I finally got him on the phone, he sounded annoyed. "Why you blowing up my phone like this?" he asked. "You missed a payment. Actually, 2. What the hell is going on?" "I quit," he said. "Quit what?" "The job. I'm not doing deliveries anymore." I just stared at the wall. I didn't even have words yet. "What do you mean you quit? What about the truck?" "I'm not paying for a truck I don't use anymore." "You signed a loan." "I signed that loan." He said it like it was nothing, not my problem anymore. Not my problem anymore. The next time I saw the truck, it was in my apartment parking lot. He dumped it there without warning. Didn't even knock on my door. 2 weeks later, I woke up at 6:30 a.m. to a tow truck dragging it away. The repo guy wouldn't let me get inside. Told me it was policy. I just stood there in my pajamas watching it disappear. A few days later, I got the notice from the lender, defaulted loan, repo fees, damage fee, plus a ding to my credit score so bad I couldn't even get approved for a Target card. I was sick for days. Stopped eating. Stopped going out. I cried in the shower, in the car, in the grocery store. I hated myself for being stupid enough to trust him. I blocked his number. I didn't talk to him for almost 4 months. Then I ran into my cousin Jake at a family barbecue. I wasn't even going to go, but my aunt guilt-tripped me. She always tries to keep the family together, even though most of us are just barely civil. Jake was drinking a beer and scrolling through his phone when he looked up and said, "You seen your dad's new toy?" I froze. "What toy?" He smiled like it was funny. "You don't know? Damn. Hang on. He pulled up a photo. It was my dad. Shirtless. Wearing sunglasses. Grinning like a damn fool next to a shiny red Yamaha Wave Runner. Florida plates. Big thumbs up. I stared at it. You serious? I said. Yeah. He said he cashed out part of his retirement and bought it. Said he always wanted one. I couldn't speak. He bought a jet ski. While I was cleaning up his mess, he was playing at the lake. While I was dodging debt collectors, he was taking selfies in the sun. While I was ashamed to check my bank account, he was blowing thousands on a toy he didn't need. That's when something in me snapped. I stopped feeling sorry. I stopped feeling sad. I got mad. And I decided it was time he paid for what he did. Once I knew about the jet ski, I couldn't think about anything else. It played in my head like a loop. Him standing there, smiling like he won the damn lottery while I was still getting credit rejection letters in the mail. I started digging. I didn't want to just yell at him. That wouldn't change anything. I wanted to do something. Something he wouldn't see coming. Something that would hit him where it hurt. I found the marina through his Facebook posts. He had it set to friends only. But Jake was still friends with him and let me scroll through his feed. He'd tagged a small place near Lake Okeechobee in Florida. Private marina, not a fancy one, but good enough for weekend riders. I called the place, pretending to be someone looking to lease a slip for the summer. The woman on the phone was nice. Too nice. Told me they had a few regulars. Mentioned a guy from North Carolina with a red Wave Runner who came down here all the time but never paid on time. I asked, casually, does he have insurance on it through you guys? She laughed. Nope. Told us he was keeping it under the radar. Don't think he even registered it properly in-state. That was what I needed. No registration. No insurance. No paper trail, at least not a solid one. That meant no theft report. No police coverage. No claim to file. It was his pride and joy, and it was legally hanging by a thread. I waited 3 more weeks. I wanted to be sure it was still there. I drove down to the marina early on a Friday, told the staff I was visiting a friend, and just walked around the docks until I saw it. There it was. Same red paint. Same NC plates. Faded sticker on the side that read, Ride or Die. That part almost made me laugh. It was parked at the far end. A little beat up from sun exposure, but still valuable. I took pictures. I got the serial number off the side. I checked the lock on the trailer hitch. Cheap padlock. No camera facing that corner of the dock. It was like it was asking to be taken. I drove home and started planning. I reached out to a guy my cousin Mike knew, someone who did boat hauling for cash. No questions. No paperwork. Just cash and instructions. He agreed to meet me at the marina at 6 a.m. on a Thursday. I forged a bill of sale, made it look like I'd bought the Wave Runner from my dad 6 months ago for $1,200. Signed it with his name. Typed out a fake title transfer form with a Florida DMV watermark I pulled from online. It looked real enough. Real enough for the guy I hired, at least. When he showed up, we were in and out in 15 minutes. No staff. No questions. No cameras. Just a pickup truck, a trailer, and a red jet ski covered in a tarp. I kept it at Mike's auto shop for 4 days. During that time, I posted it online under a fake name and sold it to a guy in Orlando for $5,800 cash. No checks. No Venmo. Just cash. I met him at a gas station and handed over the fake bill of sale. He didn't even blink. I used the money to pay off the truck loan. All of it. Repo fees, interest, damage penalties. I got it off my credit report within a month. I didn't tell my dad. Not yet. I wanted him to wonder. I wanted him to sweat. 2 weeks later, the text started. Dad, Ray, call me. Dad, where's the jet ski? Dad, someone stole my King ski. Dad, do you know anything about this? Dad, answer your phone. Then came the call. He was breathing hard. Angry. Panicked. You took it. I know you did. I said nothing. You don't get to do that, he snapped. You don't get to steal from me. I let out a laugh. I couldn't help it. Oh, I don't. You think this is funny? I think it's karma. He exploded. You're crazy. That was mine. So was the truck, Dad. Remember that? You stuck me with the debt. You let them take it from my parking lot. You never apologized. You never cared what it did to me. That ski was bought with the money you should have used to pay that loan. So yeah, I took it. I repossessed it. You're gonna regret this. No, Dad. You are. A few days passed after that call. He didn't text. He didn't call. Nothing. I thought maybe he finally got the message. But that would have been too easy. Instead, I got a letter in the mail. It was from a lawyer. A cheap one, based out of West Palm. Some name I didn't recognize. It was basically a scare tactic. A cease and desist letter, claiming I had stolen personal property and that legal action could follow if I didn't return the jet ski or pay him the full value. I actually laughed when I read it. The letter didn't mention a VIN number, no official documentation, not even a proof of ownership. It was just a bluff. A poorly written one. But what really got me? He was trying to sue his own daughter. The same one who co-signed for his damn truck. The same one who bailed him out. The same one who stayed quiet when he abandoned the debt and left me holding the mess. That's when I stopped thinking of him as Dad. I called the lawyer myself. Told him I had proof the jet ski was never properly registered, never insured, and was docked illegally under a false name. Told him I had pictures. Told him I had copies of the bank records where my dad cashed out part of his retirement account and used the funds. Told him that if they wanted to push this, we could go to court, and I'd be happy to bring all of that documentation with me, including the loan records for the truck. The guy got real quiet. He said, "Let me talk to my client." I never heard back from him again. But my dad didn't stop there. A few days later, I started getting strange voicemails. Blocked numbers. Breathing. Hangs up after 2 seconds. Then one night, someone slashed 2 of my tires. I don't have proof it was him, but I know how he works. He doesn't yell. He doesn't fight like a normal person. He sabotages. He poisons people behind their backs. He lets others do his dirty work. I filed a report. Cops couldn't do much. I told my apartment complex. Got new parking stickers. Installed a camera near my spot. 3 weeks after that, I saw him. In person. He came to my work. Unannounced. Uninvited. I was behind the counter at the dental office. He just walked in, like it was a normal visit. I stared at him. He looked worse than I remembered. Thinner. More pale. Hair messy. Eyes dark and tired. He walked right up and said, "We need to talk." I said, "You need to leave." "I'm serious." "So am I." The waiting room went quiet. People stared. I told the girl next to me to call security. "I lost everything because of you," he said under his breath. "Everything." I stepped closer and said it slow so he'd understand. "You did that to yourself. And now you get to live with it." He stood there for a second, like he didn't know what to do. Then he left. That night, I made a decision. I wasn't done. He could try to drag me down, but I had one more card to play. I started digging deeper into his financials. And I found something. 2 years before the truck loan, he took out a second credit card under my mother's name. The one who left him. The one who hadn't spoken to him since 2009. It had her maiden name, but I recognized the birth date. It was fraud. And guess what? He still owed money on it. Once I saw that old credit account, I felt sick. It was a card with a small balance, opened online in 2021. The name on it was my mom's first name spelled right, last name was her maiden name. But the birth date was hers exactly. And the address listed? My dad's apartment at the time. He used her name to open a card. Bought groceries. Gas. Even charged a plane ticket to Florida. The worst part? She had no idea. I called her the next day. We hadn't talked about him in years. Not in detail. She moved to Asheville after the divorce and stayed quiet about him. She'd always just said, let him sink on his own. But when I told her about the card, her voice changed. "That son of a bitch," she said. "He used my name?" She still had good credit. She kept it clean for years after she left him. If he tanked her score with that card, she could lose her chance at a home loan she was planning to get soon. She told me, "Do what you have to do." So I did. I gathered everything. The credit card application. The truck loan. The Wave Runner purchase. The forged address on the marina slip. I called a friend from my second job who knew a lawyer, someone real. Not some fake letter guy like Dad used. I told her everything. She agreed to help and we started building a report. Identity theft. Fraud. Misuse of a cosign loan. Verbal abuse. Harassment. We tied it all together. Then we handed it to the state attorney's office in Mecklenburg County. It took 2 months. 2 long months of silence. But one afternoon I got a call. They'd pressed charges. He was arrested in early October. He was pulled over in Florida for a busted tail light, and when they ran his name, they found the fraud warrant. He spent 3 days in county before they extradited him back to North Carolina. I didn't go to the hearing, but I heard everything from the lawyer. He tried to play dumb, said he didn't know it was fraud, that his daughter was making it all up. But the paper trail was clear. His online signature, his IP address, his bank records matching up with the charges. He had no case. He took a plea deal to avoid jail. Got 5 years probation, a $10,000 restitution order, and a full fraud mark on his financial record. His credit was frozen. His accounts were flagged. He couldn't open a debit card if he tried. The court ordered him to pay me back for the loan default. They also ordered him to pay my mom $6,000 for damages to her credit report. He hasn't paid a cent. But now, every time he gets a paycheck from any job, the government takes a piece of it. He tried to move in with an old friend. They kicked him out after 2 weeks. He started living in a motel off I-95 outside Jacksonville. He posted on Facebook asking if anyone had a couch. No one responded. He messaged me once. Said, "You ruined my life." I replied, "You ruined mine first. I just made sure you remembered it." Then I blocked him. As for me, my credit is back to 730. I bought a used Honda Civic in cash. I got pre-approved for a condo. My mom moved closer and we see each other every weekend. She told me she sleeps better now, knowing he can't touch her name again. People say revenge doesn't solve anything. They're wrong. It doesn't fix the past, no. But it closes the door. It gives you back power that someone else stole from you. He thought he could lie, cheat, steal, and walk away. But I made sure he remembered every single thing he did. Every lie, every dollar, every word. I didn't just get even. I ended it. For good.